Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
A single prisoner altered the fate of hundreds, but he paid a high price for it. He defeated the Sleeper, destroyed the barrier, but while all the other prisoners escaped, he remained behind in the rubble. It was I who dispatched him against the Sleeper. Now it is I who brings him back from there. He is weak and has forgotten much, but he is alive. He's back.
There you are again. I never thought the two of us would meet again.
I feel like I spent 3 weeks lying under a load of rocks.
Well, so you did. Only the magic within your armor kept you alive. I had feared I might not be able to rescue you from the debris of the temple, but enough of that. You're here now. There's a new threat that we have to deal with. After the fall of the barrier and the banishment of the Sleeper, Beliar's wrath has grown even greater. A mighty artifact, so it is written in the old scriptures, will be brought back to this world when the God of darkness sends his henchmen out to search. This search has long since begun. Beliar's henchmen are desecrating the oldest shrines of the gods. The guardians of these holy places have awakened, and their wrath makes the earth tremble. Every powerful magician on this island could sense this wrath. And some of them have certainly begun to face the threat. You must become their ally. That's the only way to stop Beliar.
At least we have enough time now. I did it. The Sleeper
has been banned. You vanquished him, so much is true, but is not within our power to stop the war that ensues now. With his final furious scream, the Sleeper has set into movement the armies of darkness. It was an order to all evil creatures, a word of power that they were all bound to obey. His last order was, "Come," and they came, all of them, even the dragons.
Dragons?
They are creatures of an ancient power. I can sense their presence, even here. And they have gathered an entire army of lowly servant creatures around them.
Where's this army now?
The army is camped not far from here, in the Valley of Mines near Corinus, and they're getting ready to attack. We do not have much time left.
What can we do?
This time we cannot handle it by ourselves. Only the power of Innos will help us against these dragons. A group of paladins is stationed in the city of Corinus, not far from here. They possess a powerful artifact which could help us to defeat the dragons. They call it the Eye of Innos. You need to get hold of this artifact. Tell the paladins about the threat. You must convince their leader to support us. And once you have talked to him, you need to find the artifact of Beliar. It is the counterpiece to the Eye of Innos. It must not fall into the hands of evil.
Now, during these dialogues, you might notice that their voice changes. That's because some of the dialogues were added with expansion, and with expansion, they did the expansion later. So, the voice actors didn't really voice act their old voice from the original game. That's why you may hear different voices, sometimes even different actors on the same NPC.
What exactly is the Eye of Innos?
It's an amulet. Legend has it that Innos himself was poured part of his power into this amulet. It will restore some of your lost strength and help us defeat the dragons. It also has some other hidden powers. I shall tell you more about that once the amulet is yours.
Why would the paladins give me the Eye of Innos?
Because you are the one who is destined to wear it.
How can you claim to know that?
There are a number of reasons. The most important being, you have defeated the Sleeper. If you weren't a favorite of the gods, you'd be dead by now.
Let's assume you're right and I'm destined to bear the Eye of Innos. How would the paladins know that's true?
The eye itself chooses the one who may wear it. Once you get hold of it and put it on, the paladins cannot doubt your words any longer.
How can I get to the city?
Just follow the path from here through the mountains. The city is large. You cannot miss it, but watch out. The path to town is not without dangers, and you aren't nearly as strong as you once were.
I need weapons.
I can only give you whatever little I have here. Look around in my tower. Anything that looks useful to you, you can have.
I'll be on my way as fast as I can.
Good. And one more thing. Don't tell anyone that you've talked to me. Above all, don't tell any magician. Since I have gone into exile, the Circle of Fire has taken me for dead, and that's a good thing.
Like, games usually add expansions at the end of the game, right? But in this game, the way they added the expansion was like all over the place. Like, there are bits and pieces everywhere. Lots of new dialogues everywhere. That's why you might hear different voices from same NPCs. Now, if you watched the cutscene, the initial cutscene, you might have noticed that our main hero was wearing different clothing. He looked like this in the cutscene. But in the game, he doesn't look like that. He has, you can see, different clothing compared to cutscene. That's because this cutscene was not made for Gothic 2. This cutscene was made for Gothic sequel, which was a sequel to Gothic 1. Now, this is also a sequel, Gothic 2, but this is how the main character looked at the start of Gothic sequel game. And also you can see the Zardes' tower, you can even see Zardes in the back. That's Zardes from Gothic 1. That's the tower from Gothic 1. But later down the line, they decided to cancel the sequel and make a completely new Gothic game, which was Gothic 2. So the cutscene is what remains of Gothic sequel, and they just reused it. There's a book here that explains healing potions and how to make them. Now, Zardes is reading something here.
Hey!
And we can't read that book because he's reading it. However,
Hey, watch it.
this book explains mana potions. And also, if you punch him again, you'll hear a very cool dialogue.
Hey, watch it. Just you wait, you sumbitch. Never pick a fight with me again.
And then he puts you to sleep. Okay. Now the tablet that I got from the table,
I can't read that.
I can't read it yet because I don't know that language. That tablet was added with the expansion called Night of the Raven. There is a gate here with a chest behind it. We can see the chest, but it's too far away. To open the gate, there's a switch here. To quickly transfer the items from any place to your inventory, just press the jump button. There's a heavy branch here, which is a weapon. Our beginner's weapon. Now up here is a statue of Beliar. And this effect basically tells you that this guy's bad, evil. And here, what you can do is pray to this guy. You can offer your life, your health points, to get something. However, the way statues work in this game is that you can pray once a day to get a reward. Now, in this game, technically the day hasn't started yet. And the way to make the day start... Technically it's day 0, and we need day 1 to pray. So to get the day 1, all we have to do is sleep. So let's take a look at our stats. We're guildless, magic circle 0, experience 50. We need 500 XP for the next level. Strength is 10, mana is 10. Dexterity is 10. Hit points 40. And we need those hit points because we're gonna sacrifice some of them to this statue. On the right, we have skills, rookie 10%, two-handed 10%, bow 10%, crossbow 10%. We don't know sneaking, we don't know picklocks, we don't know pickpocketing, none of that, for now. We have no idea, we're clueless. So, we have 40 hit points, okay? Now this statue says, pray and offer 3 life energy. Pray and offer 2 life energy, 1 life energy. With this, you're not offering 3 hit points, you're offering level 3 life energy. And level 3 life energy is actually 10 hit points. And you get 500 gold by offering 10 hit points, because now my hit points are 30. And it doesn't lower your current hit points, it lowers your maximum hit points, which means I'm weaker now. So I can die much easier. But I have 500 gold. I usually don't do this at the start, but I feel like this time I should do it to show it. So why not? Why not? Level 2 you offer 5 health points, and level 1 you offer 1 health points. I believe that's how it goes. There's a key here on the table, which opens this chest. The dagger has 5 damage, requires 5 strength. Heavy branch deals 10 damage. Let's see the book. This book tells you that parrying is useless against animals. You cannot parry animals. You can parry humans. You also cannot block animals. Can't block animal attacks. All of the books give some experience, so I'm gonna read all of them. This book explains permanent potions. That give you permanent buffs. Now from here, I like to jump like this, and then jump again, because here, behind the tower, there's some items. There is also a cave here, a passage that got caved in. And later, we will actually go in that cave from the other side. So basically what happened is when Zardes built the tower, this cave caved in. And now the only way to reach the tower is from this side. Now there are more dialogues with Zardes, so let's go back and talk to him.
Hey! Can you tell me anything about this stone tablet?
First, I suspected it might be a magical artifact, but I finally concluded that it is not of any great significance. I have not been able to decode the meaning of this tablet entirely, but it seems to concern the history of a very old culture. If you want the tablet, it's yours. I have no use for it.
Where exactly are we?
As I already said, near the city of Corinus. I have rebuilt my tower here.
But it's only been a few days since we last saw each other in the Valley of Mines.
The servants I summoned to build my tower have done a thorough job.
You can say that again. Where can I find better equipment?
The closest place where you can get better weapons and armor is the city of Corinus. But down in the valley, you can find some healing herbs that will help you if you get injured in a fight. See the lake right in front of my tower. A secret passage leads to the valley from there.
Why is the Circle of Fire not supposed to know about you?
I used to be a high member of the Circle. Even then, I suspected that demon magic might be the key to the magic barrier. But I could never have convinced the other members of the Circle to follow this path. So I left the Circle in order to study the black arts. That is a crime for which the fire magicians, the ordained of Enos, the ever good and virtuous, will accept no excuse. They are certain that I'm still alive, but they have no idea where to find me, and that's a good thing too.
So what should we do next?
We shall proceed as planned. There's no other way. You can go get yourself the Eye of Enos, and I shall keep looking for answers.
So what should we do next?
We shall proceed as planned. There's no other way. You can go get yourself the...
Oh, by the way, I have to mention. This is a base version from Steam. A base Gothic Steam version. I mean, with expansion, of course. But I don't have any special mods, no patches, nothing. I did add DirectX 11 mod, which gives me like all these settings. Allows me to capture the game easier, to record it easier. The cutscenes that you saw, they have subtitles. Those subtitles don't exist by default. I added them to the cutscenes on my own. I've also upscaled those cutscenes a little bit, so if you can't find them on the internet, it's because I made them, and I haven't uploaded them yet anywhere. But if you guys ever want those cutscenes, I could upload them somewhere for you to download. And I think that's basically it. I think those are all modifications I have. The version that is now on Steam is coming with community fixes? Yes. And I say that because I used to play GOG version only. Because GOG version was much better than Steam version. But now the Steam version is better than GOG version, at least from what I tested. Now here I'm getting all sorts of plants. Some of these plants have permanent effects, like this one has strength bonus. So if I were to eat the plant, I would get a permanent bonus to strength +1. Belt with strength, I'm gonna equip that. I'll show you why soon. Now this plant, it only says duration. 15 seconds. It doesn't tell you what it does. This is basically a speed buff. You get some movement speed, running speed, once you eat it, but only for 15 seconds. And I also have a dexterity plant for permanent dexterity. Now, all the items that give you permanent buffs, I always like to keep them for later. And I'll show you and tell you why when the time comes. This music. Man. So good. There's a sheep here. You can use it to test your weapon. I won't. Because there's a guy here. So the combat, the movement is basically the same like in Gothic 1. However, In this game, you can have a different combat, different controls, called Gothic 2 controls. And I'll explain them a bit later. I know many people prefer either Gothic 1 or Gothic 2 controls. I like both. And I may use both from time to time.
Nothing to be had there.
Okay, so I got a bow.
Nothing to be had there.
Now here, if you have issues with these guys, you can always use a bow.
Nothing
because
there.
The bow deals with them easier. I guess I can show it and talk a bit about it. Let's use a bow now. As you can see, the bow one-shots them. Let's take a look at the damage. The bow deals 15 damage. This thing deals 10 damage, but with the branch, you may need couple of hits compared to bow. Sometimes you may one-shot them with the branch
Nothing there.
compared with bow. So why is that? Well, the reason for that is damage calculation. So give me a second. Let's pull out the damage calculation on screen. And there it is. So, WD weapon damage, RW range weapons, AR armor or resistance, strength, STR strength, dex dexterity. So, the calculation for melee weapons is weapon damage plus strength minus resistances minus 1, all of that divided with 10. And it's always higher or equal to 5. So what does that mean? That means no matter how strong you are or weak, you will always deal 5 or more damage to enemies. So the minimum damage you will always deal is 5. Okay? Now the line below the weapon damage line is you have WD plus STR minus AR minus 1 equals or higher than 5. So the second line doesn't have division by 10, and it says melee weapons with crit. So, whenever you deal a critical damage, you deal 10 times more damage, basically. There is no division by 10. And you can see your crit chance here in the inventory. At the moment, I have 10% crit chance for one-handed weapons and two-handed weapons. The 10% chance for bows and crossbows isn't critical chance, it's just a hit chance. And if you take a look at calculation for range weapons, we have range weapon plus dexterity minus armor minus 1 is always higher or equal to 5. So basically range weapons don't have division by 10. They don't crit, or you could say they always crit. So I know some people have easier time with bows in this game. They always prefer to use bows because of that high damage at the start. But I really like melee weapons and melee combat. Now here, before I get into combat, let's talk a bit about combat and controls. So the controls are like in Gothic 1. You hold the focus button, the action button. If you press up, you attack forward. Left attacks to the left, right to the right. You can combo all of that. If you hold the focus and press down, you will block or parry attacks. If you let go of the focus button or the lock on button and you press backwards, you will step backwards. However, the stepping backwards, this animation also gives you invincibility frames. So while you are in this animation, you won't take any damage. But only from attacks that come in front of you. Not from the ones that come from the side or from back. So why is that important? Well, we can use that on these guys. And avoid all damage.
Nothing there.
You can even sidestep from some attacks from some enemies to avoid damage. But the safer way is just to backstep. There's some nice items here. Kinda hidden. That sound that you hear is a wolf. All animals have unique sounds. and they level up. With each level up, like in previous game, you get learning points, 10 of them, and you also get a bit of maximum life. Over there, you can see a rat and a wolf chasing it, which is really cool. Not all enemies like each other. Some of them will attack each other, eat each other.
Is that you? Really? Man, am I glad to see you.
Lester, how did you get here?
That was a crazy escape. After the barrier exploded, I wandered around the area for a while in total confusion. Then I spent days fighting my way through these woods until I finally found this valley here. Diego, Milton, and Gorn are still in the Valley of Mines. At least, I think so.
What happened?
After the Sleeper was defeated, the entire Brotherhood lost their minds. Without their master, they were all just empty husks.
And you? What about you?
It was the same for me. I had nightmares and even hallucinations. But once my head was more or less clear again, I ran for it. Once, I thought I saw a huge black shadow pounce on a group of fugitives and burn them all up in a giant cloud of fire. At that moment, I really thought a dragon had come to kill me.
Did you see anything else?
No. I took to my heels and ran.
I'm on my way to Corinus. What do you know about the town?
Corinus? Well, it's a seaport. Nothing special. Why do you ask?
I must go and see the paladins who are said to be in town.
Really? They won't even let you into the town. And certainly not to where the paladins are.
Do you have any suggestions how I could get into town?
I certainly do. I worked for an old alchemist named Constantino some time ago. He has great influence in the city, and he's instructed the guards at the gate to let anyone through who can sell him rare herbs. So it's quite easy, really. You collect a large bunch of the plants that grow here all over the place, and then you pretend you're working for Constantino, and in you go. But don't collect a mix of this and that. The guards aren't all that bright, and they know nothing about alchemy. The bundle needs to look good to them if you want to get through. I think that 10 specimens of the same kind of plant should do the trick.
Thanks for the hint.
How long have you been hiding out in this valley?
I don't know exactly. A week, maybe? But there's one more thing. When I came here in the evening, I took a look up on the mountain, and there were only a few trees there. And when I looked the next morning, that tower was there. I could have sworn it wasn't there before. Since then, I haven't left the valley.
You mean Zardas's tower? I knew he was powerful, but creating a tower just like that...
Zardas the Necromancer? He lives in that tower? I don't know if I like that.
Don't worry, he's the one who rescued me from the Sleeper's temple. He's on our side. You need to tell Zardas about the shadow. It could be important.
You don't think it was my imagination? You mean there really was a...
Dragon, yes.
You're getting into the thick of it again, am I right?
I shouldn't say in the thick of it, not yet.
Well, good. If it's so important, then I'll go see him. But not now. For the moment, I'm going to rest. I'm still exhausted after the escape from the penal colony. I think you've got big plans. I'll see you later at Zardas's.
So he will actually go to Zardas if you visit him and talk to him about Zardas.
What do you know about the area?
If you keep going down that way, you'll come to a farm. The city starts a little way beyond that, but be careful. There's not just wolves and rats hanging around here. There's goblins and bandits, too.
Now that I've told him about Zardes, I can go back to Zardes later and get one optional dialogue because of this. Now, there's a rat in front of me, and I can use ranged weapons as a, I like to call them scanner, because like, the foliage is thick, you might not even see through it, but if you equip a ranged weapon, you can basically scan for animals, humans, to see their names.
Nothing to plunder.
Now, rats are interesting animals because if you kill one of them, as you can see, they will try to eat each other. They eat the corpses of their own kind. They're attracted by those corpses. Not all enemies do that. Lothar, 721 to 762.
Nothing to be had there.
And that should be it in this valley. I got a leather bag in the cave. I can open it to get some coins. One more thing I feel like I should explain is the save. So usually you would save like this. However, in the INI file, Gothic INI file, you can set up quick save and quick load. Many people don't recommend quick save and quick load because sometimes when you quick save, the game will crash during the quick save. And if it crashes during the quick save, you will lose that save. So you might lose some progress if you only use quick saves. However, I don't care about those warnings, and I'm just gonna use it. And if I lose the save, I'll always have other backups, so. But it's there. The option is there.
One less monster around.
Nothing to be had there. Nothing there. Nothing to be had there.
Trouble? Damn. I don't know where they're all hiding. You kill one, and shortly afterwards they're all back again. Wait a moment. I know you. You're the fellow who was constantly baking arrows for me in the Valley of Mines.
Your name is Cavalorn, right?
Ah, I see you haven't forgotten me after all we went through in the cursed colony. Where are you heading?
Now, if you say back to the Valley of Mines, he will give you a quest.
Back to the Valley of Mines.
Really? I wish I could follow you, but I have to finish my duties here first. When you're in the Valley of Mines, could you please look around and see if my old hut is still standing? I'd like to return there one day.
Interesting armor you're wearing. Don't you belong to the Shadows anymore?
Shadows? They haven't existed since the fall of the barrier. The moment we could finally leave the Valley of Mines, there was no reason for me to stick with them. Now I work for the Water Mages. I belong to the Ring of Water.
What are you doing here?
I'm sitting tight. If it hadn't been for these damned bandits, I wouldn't be here.
Tell me more about the Ring of Water.
I'm not really allowed to talk about it. All I can do is send you to Vatras. He is the representative of the Water Mages in Corinus. The best thing would be to talk to him. Tell him you've come from me. Maybe he'll take you on as one of us. We urgently need more good people.
Weren't you and your people enemies of the Water Mages back then?
Those crazy old days are over. There isn't any more new camp or old camp. Now that the penal colony no longer exists, everyone is on his own. Most of us former prisoners are still being hunted. The Water Mages were able to get my sentence commuted, and now I can move about freely.
What are the Water Mages doing now?
They're up to something big. It has to do with an unknown region of the island.
An unknown region? Where is it supposed to be?
I can't tell you more. Talk to Vatras in Corinus.
What was that about bandits?
Have you slept through the last few weeks?
Huh?
I'm talking about all the riffraff from the penal colony that are making themselves at home here in the area, plundering and murdering for all they're worth. I guess I'm lucky they didn't kill me. I let down my guard for one moment, and they clubbed me from behind. No idea how I'll get all my stuff back now.
You were robbed by the bandits?
Yes, they beat me down and tossed me to the goblins for lunch. It was damned important stuff. A letter and all my money. I absolutely have to get it back. But without someone to watch my back, I'm not going back there. That cowardly rabble.
Can I help you with the bandits?
Maybe. But as scrawny as you look, you surely haven't held a proper sword in your hand for weeks. Well, I don't have any choice but to take your offer. My time is running out. So, pay attention. Down this path here, you'll find one of those filthy holes in the ground that bandits like to hide in. The fellows there are the same ones who stole my stuff. Let me know when you're ready, and we'll nab the rabble.
I need better equipment.
Those swine haven't left me much. I can give you a wolf knife. Will that do for now?
You call that a knife? But what about healing?
I still have 2 healing potions here. Interested?
Sure, give them here.
We're not gonna fight with those bandits yet.
Nothing there. Nothing to plunder.
Now, whenever NPCs eat, look how their head shrinks and then pops. Shrinks and then pops. Shrinks and pops. I love that. So he gave me a wolf knife. And the wolf knife has 30 damage. It also has one-handed talent bonus, 3. That's 3% more critical chance. But I hope you can see it. The wolf knife is much shorter than heavy branch. And size does matter, people. Size does matter. The longer, the better. Before I go down there, I like to leave gold in this chest, because there's a guy down here that's gonna ask for gold, and I'm gonna scam him.
Hey, where do you come from?
I've come from the mountains.
Exactly, you come from the mountains, and that is bad for you. Very bad. They're looking for you, a whole bunch of evil guys. There's someone here you absolutely have to talk to. Follow me.
Now, depending on your dialogue choices here, he may attack you.
Who's looking for me?
Half of Carinus is after you, and you're trying to tell me that you don't know anything about it? Ah, I see. You just don't want to talk to me about it, All right, it's your business. So, are you coming or not?
Who should I talk to?
To my leader. His name is Brago. He can explain everything to you better than I can. So, what about it? Are we going?
How do I know this isn't a trap?
You know, I'm getting tired of you. If you don't want my help, then just go to the city and let them put you behind bars. You come with me now or forget about it, see?
Easy, my friend. Someone else already tried to trick me.
Oh?
This guy suggested that we should get an amulet together and share the profit. Once we reached our goal, he and his friends attacked me.
It sounds as though they got you involved with the wrong people. Where was that?
I was a convict in the mining colony.
You come from behind the barrier? Man, then we were there together.
I don't know you.
I was a digger in the old camp. I didn't have much to do with the whole thing. But what is more important now is you are in big trouble. Someone has put a pretty price on your head, and he's handed out a few posters with your mug on them. If I were you, then I would be very, very careful. There are people with us who would kill their own mother for gold. But I think we boys from the penal colony ought to stick together.
Then I guess I better thank you now.
Oh, it's nothing. Just make sure you stay alive.
Who's the fella who pays the bounty?
That I don't know. There's only one of us who knows him.
And who would that be?
Hey man, I can't really tell you that. You know how it goes.
10 gold pieces for the name of the guy who raised the bounty.
Oh man, I really can't do that.
Spit it out already.
Oh man, all right. His name is Dexter. Near the big farm, there's a steep rock. There's a watchtower up there, and a few mines. He has his hideout somewhere nearby.
I just realized I haven't got 10 gold pieces left.
What? Oh, forget it. It's my own fault. I shouldn't have told you the name before I saw the gold. And just don't tell him who told you.
Can I have the picture?
Sure. After all, it's your mug on there.
There's bound to be a lot of trouble here before long.
What's up?
A guy named Cavalorn is coming to get you.
Rats, he's still alive. I'm out of here.
So he's gonna run, but he won't go far away.
One less monster around.
He's just gonna stand here.
Hey! Is there anything else that might interest me?
You mean about the area here? If you want to stay alive, stay on the paths. The farther you go into the wilderness, the more dangerous it is. I wouldn't go into the cave up here if I were you. My buddies in there'll tan your hide, and they know something about fighting.
And the poster that he gave me is that one. Now I can get my coins back.
Let's mix it up with those guys.
Sure thing. Just keep my back clear, okay? Now they're in for a nasty surprise.
You shouldn't have come here!
You deserve that, lowlife.
You poor sucker. You don't even have any gold on you. So, that's done. Ha! They shouldn't have messed with me. Then I can finally fulfill my mission. I've lost too much time already.
What sort of mission?
Yeah. First I have to get into the city, and then later. I don't know how I'm going to get all that done in time.
What about me?
Why not? You could take the letter into the city. Then I'll have a bit more time to take care of my equipment. One of the bandits must have the letter in his pocket. Take it to Vatras, the water mage in the city. You'll find him in the temple of Adenos. He preaches there all day. Tell him that I wasn't able to get it done. And if he asks where I am, just tell him I'm already on my way to the meeting point. Okay? Oh yeah, one more thing. First buy some decent clothes from the farmers. Otherwise, you may be taken for a bandit. Here's a couple of coins.
Can you teach me something?
Sure. You know that. Man, they really took a lot out of you. You can't remember anything at all, can you?
I want to learn your abilities.
Sure. What do you want to know?
So he can teach me one-handed weapons, bows, and sneaking. Now, you may have noticed, for people who don't know Gothic 1, when NPCs beat you down, or beat each other down, they loot each other, or they loot you. Now, I was quick enough to loot these guys. However, if you're not quick enough to loot anyone with him, as soon as he done beating them, try to talk to him instantly, because talking to him will cancel his looting action, so he won't loot them if you talk to him immediately. He will forget about looting. The letter that he talked about is this one. This message was carefully sealed, and if you try to read it, you will break that seal. So I'm not gonna break it, at least not yet. Sleeping restores all your health and mana, just like in the previous game. Also got a better weapon. Now here we have statue of Innos. At the Zardes' tower we had statue of Beliar. Beliar is basically the evil god, and this one is the opposite. We can pray to both. This guy wants gold instead of life, and if you give him gold, you will get some buffs. So, let's give him 100 gold. And as you can see, he gave me strength. Let's reload and do it again. So this time he gave me dexterity. So you can pray once a day to the statue. And once you pray, there's a slight randomness of which attribute you get. So for 100 gold pieces, I got strength and dexterity. However, I can also get mana or health. You always get health if you donate 50 gold pieces. To get the attributes, you need to donate 100. And there is a limited amount of things that you can get. And it also depends on which guild you belong. At the moment I'm guildless. So now I'm gonna pull some numbers on the screen. It might be slight spoilerish for people who haven't played the game, because it will tell you which factions you can join. So if you don't want to see that, just skip this part. So, as a guildless, you can get maximum of 10th strength, 10 dexterity, 20 mana, and infinite health. So if you have infinite gold, you can get infinite amount of health. If you join militia or paladins, you can get the same stats as if you were guildless. So 10 strength, 10 dexterity, 20 mana, and health. If you join mercenaries, you can only get strength and dexterity. You do not get mana as a mercenary, because they do not use mana. If you join mages, you can get mana or health. Now, you might think, can I get 10 dexterity or strength as guildless, and then get 10 more as paladin or mercenary? No, you cannot. If you get 10 strength as guildless, you cannot get it again as a different faction. And this is another place where I don't like to get permanent attributes right away. I like to keep them for later, and you will see why. Now, health is fine. Getting health right away is okay. But strength, dexterity, or mana, I like to leave that for later, and I will explain why.
Hey, stranger. I saw how you came out of the mountains. You can be glad you didn't come by here 3 weeks ago. We would have taken you for an escaped convict. And we made short work of those. You look completely done in. What do you want here?
I was attacked by bandits in the mountains.
Those filthy rabble. They were probably the same bastards who took one of our sheep last night. You had terrific luck. Most people don't get away alive.
Those bandits won't trouble you anymore.
Why? Are they dead?
They picked a fight with the wrong guy.
Thank Innos. Here, it isn't much, but I want you to have it. I'll tell the others about this.
I'm on my way to town.
The way you look, you'll have to bribe the guys to get in. And you have to know what they want to hear.
And that would be?
Well, for example, that you're from Lobart's farm and want to go to the smith in the city. But that won't do you any good. You don't look like a farmer.
I see. I need better equipment.
I can imagine. But I tell you right now, we don't have anything to give away. If you can pay for what you want, Lobart will sell you something. Otherwise, go to him and ask him if he has work for you.
Where can I find Lobart?
Well, on the farm, of course. The farm belongs to him, and don't try messing with him. He's thrashed a lot of tramps and thrown them off his farm.
Well done! One dirty beast less!
And when it comes to permanent buffs, permanent attributes and stuff, if you guys like to get them right away, train them right away, like it's an RPG game, do whatever you want. I personally don't like to get them right away. I like to wait. And again, I'll show you why later. There's a satchel here belonging to one of the farmers. And there's one right there. The reason why I have like 800 gold is because of Beliar's statue. I don't pray to that statue in every single playthrough, but I guess I would show it now, why not?
Why are you hanging around on my land? Whose side are you on? The rebelling farmers or the king?
I'm for the peasants.
Ha! That damned warmonger Onar will drag us all into the grave. What do you think? How long will the Paladins just stand by? After what Onar has done, the whole city is in an uproar.
What's going on here anyway?
Don't you know what's going on? Boy, where are you from? We're on the edge of a civil war. Up till now, all the farmers looked at the tribute to the city as fair taxation. But since the Paladins have come to Corinthus, the city guards visit us more and more often. And little by little, they're taking everything. If it goes on like this, soon we won't have anything left for ourselves. Some farmers are starting to rebel. Onar was the first of them.
Tell me more about this Onar.
Onar is the biggest farmer here in the area. He is broken with the city. They say he's hired mercenaries to keep the city guard off his back. Can't blame him. In any case, no royal soldier dares to set foot on his farm anymore.
Who are those mercenaries that Onar hired?
I don't know much about the guys. Supposedly, a lot of them are former prisoners from the mining colony. Everybody knows what you can expect from them.
What about you? Whose side are you on? Peasants or king?
I'm too close to the city to really have a choice. But I'm glad about that. I wouldn't know how to decide. The king is bleeding us dry, and Onar sets his mercenaries on anyone who won't join him. That's why most of the other farmers are still undecided, but sooner or later they'll have to choose one side or the other.
I'm looking for work.
I can't use another farmhand, but I could offer some work to a day laborer. Well, what I mean is, you can lend a hand in the field, and there are certainly a few other things to do around here. I could pay you with gold, or give you a few decent things to wear. The things are worth a fair bit. I can't give them to you for nothing, but I can sell them to you cheap if you work for me. By the looks of you, I should say, take the clothes. Anyway, the small turnip field next to the barn needs to be harvested.
All right.
Then hurry it up a bit before I change my mind.
Have you got anything else for me to do?
First get the turnips in from the field. Then we'll see.
I need some sensible clothes.
I can give you clean farmer's work clothes. Can you pay for them then?
How much for the work clothes?
Well, we'll see. Maleth said you chased the bandits off. The bastards have caused us a lot of trouble. Thanks to you, we're rid of them. 60 gold pieces.
Nah, too expensive. Don't have that gold.
Well, that's still too expensive.
Well, suit yourself.
Now, if you want, you can just steal the clothes. Equip them. Let's see what happens if we talk to him.
I don't believe it. The bastard's running around in my clothes. You should be making yourself useful around here, not sniffing around in my house, you lazy bum. You give me back my clothes right now.
Here, take them back.
If you want them, you can pay for them. Now go make yourself useful.
So, let's get those turnips. Before I give them to him, I'm gonna save and show you one cool dialogue about turnips. So I'm gonna drop my other plants.
One less monster around.
Halt!
What is it?
You aren't getting in here, my boy.
Why not?
Looking the way you do, you're sure to cause nothing but trouble here, boy. And we got enough rabble in the city. We have no use for people without money.
I'm bringing some herbs for Constantino, the alchemist.
Really? Then you won't mind showing me what you brought. What? What is this supposed to be? What's an alchemist to do with a bunch of clunky turnips? Are you trying to be cute? Get lost.
So yeah, you can show them the turnips.
Here are your turnips.
Well, that's not even 20 of them. Did you eat the rest? I hope not, buddy. Otherwise, you can forget your pay. Get out there and get more. Go back to work, or I'll make you.
Okay, he wants 20.
Here are your turnips.
Hey, you're not all that worthless after all. Take them to my wife in the house. Tell her to cook them.
What about my pay?
I can give you 5 gold pieces, or sell you the clothes cheaper. Well, what's it to be?
Make me a better price for the togs.
Good. I'll give them to you for 10 gold pieces less.
Have you got anything else for me to do?
I don't. But you can ask my wife or the boys in the fields. Maybe they need some help.
Hey! I've got a few turnips here for you.
Great. That should be enough to fatten those guys up. Since you're here anyway, I saw a traveling trader pass by here a few minutes ago. I think he stopped on his way to town. Go to him and see whether he's got a decent frying pan for me.
Can you give me something to eat?
Here, take this. You're a good lad.
Can you give me something to eat?
You've had your portion for today. Come back later.
Give me the gold, and I'll go see the merchant for you.
Are you saying I can trust you? Just don't spend the money on booze, do you hear?
Now, there's a pan that you can get for free back there behind the city, but I don't really recommend going all the way there for 20 gold. Now, another thing that I want to show you is the difference when you talk to merchant with and without armor.
How goes the work, peasant?
I can't complain.
Can I do something for you?
What do you have to offer?
I am a traveling merchant. I sell a bit of everything.
Show me your wares.
Take your pick.
I've got to go.
Suit yourself.
So that's the dialogue. If you have the clothes, But if you don't...
Who do we have here? You're on your way to the city. Am I not right?
Maybe.
You look like a fugitive. All fugitives are headed for the city. You could even be a former convict for the mining colony. I don't care where you come from, but I believe I have an interesting offer for you.
What do you have to offer?
The way you look, the guards will never let you into the city. I can help you get into the city. I have here a small piece of paper with the royal seal and the governor's signature. A pass. With this scrap of paper in your pocket, you can run about as raggedly as you please, and the guards will leave you alone. Interested?
There must be a catch to this.
No, no catch. You will merely owe me a favor.
The catch is that he knows I'm a convict, and he will try to blackmail me later.
How will you get into town?
The guards know me. I will simply tell them that I have lost my pass.
What do you want for your pass?
I knew you were the right man. Listen, you will get the pass from me, now.
Just like that?
Just so. But if I meet you in the city, you owe me a favor. Do we have a deal?
Sure. Give me that paper.
Here, be careful with that. It is very valuable. One more thing. Don't even think about breaking your word. As a merchant, I have a great deal of influence in the city. And it wouldn't go well for you. Believe me.
Show me your wares.
Take your pick.
I've got to go.
Suit yourself.
So, got the pen, got the paper.
And how goes the work?
Same as always. Lot to do, not enough money, and with a bit of bad luck, the orcs will come tomorrow and burn down our farm. The king's paladins have occupied the whole city, but I can hardly believe they'll move their butts out here when the orcs attack us.
Can I help you? I'm looking for work.
You know anything about working in the fields?
What is there to know?
In that case, I think we're fine here. Thank you. If you want to work for Lobart as a day laborer, I can only warn you, he pays people like you really miserable.
He offered to sell me some clean clothes cheap if I helped out on the farm.
Well, I don't have anything for you to do, but you can bring me and the boys something to drink, fetch me a bottle of wine, and I'll tell Lobart you were a real help to us.
I'm headed for town.
And?
Is there anything interesting you can tell me about the city?
Nope. But Maleth goes to the city from time to time. Maybe he knows something. I mean, something that would interest you.
Is there any interesting news?
I could have sworn I saw an orc over there on the edge of the woods 2 days ago. Since then, I've kept at least one eye open at night.
Is there any interesting news?
Besides what I already told you? No.
Here's your wine.
I'd better not ask where you got it from, huh? Who cares? Thanks anyway. Lobart will only hear the best about you.
Hey, you! Here's your frying pan.
Fine. Let's see then whether it's any good.
Can you give me something to eat?
You've had your portion for today. Come back later.
Have you got anything else for me to do?
I don't, but you can ask my wife.
How much for the work clothes?
Well, we'll see. You've worked the field for me. You helped my wife. Vino says you were real help to him. And that's saying something. He doesn't usually hold with day laborers. Maleth said you chased the bandits off. The bastards have caused us a lot of trouble. Thanks to you, we're rid of them. 30 gold pieces. It's not gonna get any cheaper.
I think the price also depends who you told him about your support. Do you support the king or the peasants? If I remember correctly, if you tell him the king, he will tell you 35 gold for the armor, something like that. Okay, give me the clothes.
Give me the work clothes then.
There's a chest in my house where you'll find cleaned things. But don't even think about taking anything else without asking.
Have you got any?
I don't.
Now, there are some switches here. I'm not gonna press them yet.
Nothing to be had there. Nothing there.
Now, one thing you should know when it comes to fighting these bugs and dodging them, your control scheme kinda matters. The Gothic 1 controls or Gothic 2 controls. Why is that? You see, when you do the forward attack, this one, if you try to press backwards, your character will block. He always goes into block animation. But only if you do the forward attack. If you do left or right attack, you can step back. If you do forward, you can't, for some reason. He always tries to block first. And when it comes to bugs, they will hit you. So if you're using the Gothic 1 controls, it's probably the best to just attack left or right and then backstep. Now, if you're using Gothic 2 controls, so if you just go here and turn them off, you can easily backstep by doing forward attacks. There's no block, because with these controls, the block is on different button. It's not backwards. The backwards is just dodge. And I'm gonna talk about this a bit more, I would say soon-ish. Now this tablet is a stone tablet of life energy. So if I read this tablet,
I can't read that.
I don't know this language yet. But if I were to know the language, I would get permanent life bonus. And there are other tablets that give you other types of bonuses. And the life buffs, the life tablets, or anything that increases my life, I like to use that right away, whenever I can. When it comes to other stuff, like strength, dexterity, weapon fighting, I don't use them right away. Now, if you want to use them right away, as I said before, this is an RPG game. Play the game however you want. And I'll explain soon-ish, I suppose, why I don't like to do it.
Nothing there. Nothing there.
Before I talk to that guy, I want to show you this.
Halt! Are you one of the hands on Lobart's farm? I never seen you here.
I haven't been with Lobart for long.
What you want in the city?
I want to see the blacksmith to have some tools repaired.
Okay, fine. In you go then. And if you see Lobart, you can tell him he should feed his sheep well. We're coming back to him shortly.
So, farmer clothes unlock that path into the city. And that dialogue.
Psst. Hey, you, come here.
What is it?
On your way to the city, and really busy, too. Listen, you look like a smart guy to me. I bet you'll go far in life. You're certainly nobody's fool, I could see that right away. Say, you'd probably like to earn a few gold coins, wouldn't you?
Why not?
You'll have to forgive an ignorant old seaman. I'm a stranger in these parts, and I don't really know all the rules. So I had to find out the hard way that traveling strangers aren't welcome in the harbor city. Now I'm standing here with no idea how I'm supposed to get into the city. I have some extremely important business to conduct, and my client won't tolerate a delay, you see. You'll help me find a way to get past the city guard, won't you?
About the city guards.
Yes, got an idea?
You could get into the city as a herb gatherer.
What? Do I look like I'd be picking flowers in the woods?
I have a pass for the city.
Oh, I see. I'm supposed to act like I'm a citizen of the town, or what? Take a look at me, boy. Nobody's going to believe that.
What about bribery?
Well, if that worked for me, I'd have tried it already.
I'll have to think about it first.
All right, but hurry up about it. I've got no time to lose.
About the city guards.
Yes, got an idea?
They should let you pass if you're wearing these farmer's clothes.
That's just what I need. Man, I knew I could count on you. Nobody will bother me disguised as a local yokel. Excellent. You did really well. Here's your promised reward.
What? 50 measly gold coins? You can't be serious.
Gold isn't everything, my friend. Take them for now. I have the feeling that we'll be seeing one another soon. And who knows, maybe I'll return the favor. Look after yourself.
Okay, next goal is to get into the city. And there are a couple of ways. So, let's do all of them. Or maybe most of them. So let's see. One of the ways is to go this way. And just run. Just run. If you hold down the walk button, you won't be able to fall down from any ledge. And voila! That's one way. Or one of the ways. Another way. That guy on the left, he's the one who stops us, okay? The guy on the right doesn't stop us. So, because of that, we can just do this. And...
Halt, stranger. I didn't see you come through this gate.
And?
And the guards on the other gate have orders not to let any unknown persons into the city.
Well...
I shall have to have a word with those two. But now for us two.
I'm gonna skip all of this for now. I love this way in, because I just went through the gate. And he's like, hold, I didn't see you come through here.
Doesn't surprise me.
Okay. Another way is to...
Halt!
What is it?
You aren't getting...
So another way is up the chain. Now up here you have to position yourself slightly to the left to be able to grab this ledge.
Halt!
What is...
And there we go. But just don't die there. Just jump normally. Let's see.
How?
What is it?
You aren't getting in here, my boy.
Why not?
Looking the way you do, you're sure to cause nothing but trouble here, boy. We got enough rabble in the city. We have no use for people without money.
I can bribe him.
Here's 100 gold pieces. Let me pass.
100 gold pieces sounds good. In you go, then. How?
We can use the herbs.
I'm bringing some herbs for Constantino, the alchemist.
Really? Then you won't mind showing me what you brought. Looks good. All right, in you go. But don't cause any trouble. Understood?
There are more ways in. One of the ways is if you have clothes that say I have a bit of money. Let's take the governor's clothes. We look swag, rich.
How?
What?
I only wanted to take a look at you. Looks like you got money. You can go in.
So there's also that dialogue. Another way in is to jump here. Now, he can clearly grab the wall. He can clearly do it, but for some reason he doesn't. So, you can drop Digger's meat, climb on it, and then jump on the wall. And here you don't just want to fall down, you want to jump from the ledge. Because usually if you just fall down, you will fall down on your face, just like I did it from there. So you want to jump like this. And I believe this is the last way I'm gonna show you. There might be more ways to go in, but now these giant rats are not the same ones that I fought before. The ones that I fought before are the young giant rats. These are not young, which means these deal much more damage. That's why I climbed up here and shot them with a bow. Now, you may want to know this, especially if you're playing the game on the modern hardware, but this is an older game, right? It came out in like 2000s. And because of that, this game doesn't like high frame rate, high FPS. The engine of the game basically breaks. That's one of the reasons why I use DirectX 11, so that I can limit the frame rate to 59 or 60. But if you unlock this, if you don't use VSync, your character might not be able to grab the ledges. And that's like not the only thing that breaks. I'm gonna show you something else way later that also breaks the game because of the high FPS, of the high frame rate. For example, there are some slopes where you can slide. Let's see, can I do it here? You see that sliding animation? That sliding animation breaks with high frame rate. And instead of sliding down, you can slide upwards, up the mountain, up the slope. You defy gravity with high FPS. The free pan you can get is that way, but I'm not gonna get it. Don't need it yet. And I also gave the pan to Lobart's wife. There's some swamp weed here. Everyone loves swamp weed. So you can get in this way, again by using the chain.
Halt!
Yes?
You look like a poor beggar. In this town, we have no use for people without money.
But I've got a pass.
That one's only good for the other gate.
Or you can do this, and I didn't use the pass. So let's use it.
Halt!
What is it?
You aren't getting in here, my boy.
Why not?
Looking the way you do, you're sure to cause nothing but trouble here, boy. We got enough rabble in the city.
I've got a pass.
Really? And who you kill for that, you cutthroat?
Now, will you let me pass or not?
Well, go on in before I change my mind.
Okay, so last way into the city. I'm just gonna run for it. Now, enemies, if you run away from them, whether it's humans, animals, they eventually give up on you. So you can run away. There's a boar to the right. Very strong enemy at the moment. Look at this view. One funny thing about Zardes is that he's hiding from people, but you can see his tower from the city. Now from here you just want to jump like this. Now, if you get into the city without talking to the guards at the gates, and you come here and you talk to this guy, you will get a lot of experience, and you'll see why.
I must be crazy. What are you doing here? Did you swim here? That's one way to get past the guards at the city gate.
So the game actually rewards you more if you avoid the guards at the entrance.
But no. Hey Larish, you old scoundrel, how did you get here?
I was able to escape to the Valley of Mines just in time, together with Lee and some of the other boys. You remember Lee, don't you?
That's totally obvious.
Of course I remember Lee.
I got out of the colony with him then, just after the barrier was destroyed. He and his boys are now on the farm of Onar, the landowner. He made a deal with the farmer. He and his boys defend the farm, and Onar feeds them in return.
You don't have to ask me that.
I must talk to the Paladins, by any means.
What do you want from them?
They've got a powerful amulet, the Eye of Innos. I must have it.
And you think they'll give it to you? You'll never get into the upper end of town.
I'll find a way somehow.
Sure. If you want to ingratiate yourself with the citizens or play errand boy for the militia.
Why haven't I heard about this?
Do you know why the Paladins are here?
Nobody knows for sure. Lots of people think it's because of the orcs, but I think there's another reason. It probably has something to do with the old penal colony.
It's really not my problem.
Tell me more about Lee and his mercenaries.
What do you want to know?
How do I find the landowner's farm?
It's quite simple. You leave the seaport by the east gate and then follow the path towards the east. I can take you there if you want.
It can't go on like this forever.
Tell me more about the mercenaries.
Well, if you're as tough as you were back then, you shouldn't have any problems with them. Most of them are ruffians, and if you can't stand up to them, you won't get far. If you're squeamish, you don't have a chance of joining them.
Why aren't you with Lee and his mercenaries?
But I am, just not on the farm. You could say I'm our outpost in the city. We don't want the ship to sail without us.
What are you talking about?
It's on the open sea harbor, behind the cliffs. Lee and a few of his people really want to get away from here. But that could take a while.
Why?
You'd better ask Lee about that. If you meet him, he's got plans.
Can you teach me something?
Sure. I can help you become stronger and more dexterous if you like.
That'll only cause more trouble.
Now, you don't want him to lead you to the mercenaries right away.
Okay, let's go.
I cannot leave here until we know more about the missing people, or someone else takes over my duties.
So he has this dialogue, but just in case, you don't want to leave with him right away to the mercenaries' farm, because there's a bug where if he leads you to the farm, he won't lead you to one other important place. And you need to go to that important place to progress through the game. I'm not sure if they fixed it with the latest Steam patch, with all community fixes, but just in case, you don't want to go to the mercenaries with him right away. If they fixed it, that's another thing, but I don't know if they fixed it. Now, I mentioned this in Gothic 1, but the thing that I love about Gothic games, first, is that people don't trust you.
Put down that weapon!
They will threaten you if they see you with your weapon out.
Are you deaf or what? I said put down that weapon! Wasn't so hard.
Another thing is that their weapon stance matters.
Put down that weapon!
Depending on how they hold their weapon, you can see how good of a fighter they are. Where's the guard from here?
Put that weapon down! Hey, you're not quite as stupid as you
Let's
look.
see these guys.
Put away
Now
that
this guy,
weapon.
he's a master.
Smart
That's why
kid.
he holds his weapon like that.
Put away
These
that
guys, they're
weapon.
not a master.
Hey, you're not quite as stupid as you look.
So why did I show you that? Well, first of all, I like it. Second, depending on how they hold their weapon, they might have a different AI in combat. So, NPCs that don't know how to fight, you can actually see that in combat. For example, this guy doesn't know how to fight. And because of that, he will always lounge at you like that. So you can always easily sidestep it.
What you waiting for?
Yeah, let him have it.
That's because he doesn't know how to fight.
Hit him!
Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah,
And
that's
whenever
the
he
ticket.
does that,
Give it
you
your
can do
all.
that.
Let him have it.
Or you
Let
can
him
just
have
block
Show him!
and attack.
Slug him.
Block, attack. Block,
you
attack.
waiting for?
Block,
Let him
attack.
have it.
Give
Or
it
even
your all.
Let him have it.
attack twice.
Let him have it.
Slug him.
Give it your
No.
all.
Let him have it.
Laris knows how to fight, so he won't charge at you like that guy.
And now
You regret this.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
So he's a bit tougher opponent
Yeah,
in
that's the
combat.
ticket. What you waiting for?
Are you deaf or what? I
Atta
said
boy.
put down that weapon.
Not
And
bad
he
at
also
all.
deals more damage.
Hey, I don't know you. What do you want here? Are you headed for the tavern?
No, I'm not headed for the tavern.
Yeah, that's what I would have said. But that isn't important, and that's why we can get straight down to business. Since you're new here, I'll make you an offer. You give me 50 gold pieces and you can go. That's your entrance fee for the tavern.
I don't believe that.
Forget it. You won't get a single coin.
Then I'll take everything you have.
Ray, don't tell me that.
As soon as you're lying on the ground in front of me.
Now, one of the cool things you can do here
Hey,
is ask Laris for help.
I need your help.
And what exactly were you thinking of?
not for long.
Stop it right now.
Not bad.
There's to be no fighting here, and don't you forget it.
Sometimes he may knock you off, sometimes he may not, if you ask for help.
Well, at least you've got some gold on you.
This looks cool.
I think I'll take your weapon.
And yeah, Laris also looted him.
But no, he insisted he knew better.
Go away.
Or you can just fight him.
Hey, I don't know you. What do you want here? Are you headed for the tavern?
Yes, do you mind?
You've got no business here, runt.
Calm down. All I want to do is drink a beer.
Okay, but it'll cost you 50 gold pieces to get in.
That's terrible.
Forget it. You won't get a single coin.
Then I'll take everything you have. As soon as you're lying on the ground in front of me.
You can pull out your weapon during dialogues.
Fight!
He also doesn't know how to fight.
Give him what for!
Show him!
So you can either dodge on the side.
Finish him! Get him!
Give him what for!
Show him!
Give him what for!
Show him!
Huh?
Now, one more thing I want to show.
I hadn't seen it with my own eyes.
Is Gothic 2 controls. Now let's have a look here. The last option here is alternative setting, right? Before the back option. If I turn off Gothic 1 controls, there is more keys down below. Right of the back button, there is more keys. If you use Gothic 2 controls, you get more keys to keybind here. There's a dedicated parry button, there's even lock target button, which you don't have in Gothic 1 controls. So if you ever see me target over an enemy and it has locked, that's because I'm using Gothic 2 controls and I'm also locked into the target.
Hey, I don't
The reason I'm doing this is because the combat might be easier with Gothic 2 controls.
And now for the
Give it your all!
Slug him!
Show him!
Because your character
Show him!
follows
Give it your
enemies
all.
better. You can even stagger them easier in combat if you use Gothic 2 controls.
Do you really think?
That's an open secret.
Now, just like in Gothic 1, if NPCs are not your enemies, you will knock them down.
Well,
While they're knocked down, you can also end them by trying to attack them again.
Murderer!
And that can also happen to you.
Don't stop now! That hit the spot!
Die, murderer!
One stab was enough to kill me, but 3?
Thanks for the gold, you hero.
I think I got the point.
You anything new?
For now, I think I'm gonna use Gothic 1 controls. But I also like Gothic 2, so... And I believe that's it. I can move on now. I think that's all I wanted to show.
Can't keep anything to himself.
He simply talks too much.
But yeah, if you're playing the game for the first time, try to experiment with controls.
All right, you win. What do you want?
That's not what my husband thinks.
You know your way about the harbor, don't you?
Sure
Who
thing.
says things like
Why?
Who says things like that?
What kind of rumors are floating about?
Around here, we don't like people who ask too many questions. Especially not if they're strangers.
He had better shut up.
Why don't I see any militia?
They don't dare come in here.
That's not what I heard.
We take care of things ourselves.
How's the shipping traffic?
The only ship that's come here recently is the Paladin's ship. It's over there behind the rocky ridge to the southwest.
Don't tell this to anyone.
That's not what my husband.
You know your way about the harbor, don't you?
Sure thing.
Honestly,
Why?
I witnessed it myself.
And it's gonna get even worse.
I can't go on with this forever. I agree with you completely.
What are you doing here?
My name is Brahim. I draw maps and sell them. Since you're new here, maybe you could use a map of the city? It's quite affordable and very useful until you know your way around.
I'm not telling you anything.
Show me your maps.
As if I didn't have enough problems.
Come back again later. I'm sure to have something new for you then.
He does get new maps later.
As if I didn't have enough problems.
And in his house, he even has maps on the wall. Kinda cool.
Better watch out who you tell what.
That's all just gossip.
Hey, you!
He should have known.
What are you doing here?
I'm building a ship because I want to get out of here as fast as I can. But the way it looks right now, this ship will never be finished.
Why are you in such a hurry?
Soon the orcs will come and burn down the city.
What makes you think that?
Boy, have you noticed the paladins running around everywhere? Why do you think they're here? I tell you, they're here because the orcs will attack soon, and that won't be pretty.
You really believe that?
Can I help you somehow?
Yes, you can. Find out what the paladins are planning. I want to know why they're here. And I have to know if the orcs will attack and how far from the city they are. One of the bastards was even seen outside the city. Just bring me all the information you can get. I need to know how much time I have left to finish the boat.
That was obvious all along.
Now, during dialogues, you may hear handwriting on a paper sound. That's because our character actually writes what he thinks, and he's writing his own opinion every time you talk to someone. Like here, he says, I gave him some farmer's clothes. He can get past the city guards with those. And sometimes there are some pretty cool things you can read here. And funny things.